Ambassador, Captain, Commander Shepard. We have gathered here to recognize the enormous contributions of the Alliance forces in the war against Sovereign and the Geth.
Many humans lost their lives in the battle to save the Citadel. Brave and courageous soldiers who willingly gave their lives so that we, the Council, might live.
There is no greater sacrifice, and we share your grief over the tragic loss of so many noble men and women.
The Council also owes you a great personal debt, Commander, one we can never repay. By defeating Sovereign, you have saved billions of lives. You have the courage of your convictions and a ruthless determination to succeed. Through your actions, you have become a symbol of everything humanity represents.
Your species has an indomitable will, a fierce, savage spirit that will not bend or yield. We used to believe this made humans stubborn, even dangerous.
But now we understand that these traits are what make you strong. There are dark times ahead. The Council needs humanity and its strength.
As the Alliance Ambassador, I accept your offer. Humanity will join its strength to yours. We will take our seat on the Council.
We will need a list of potential candidates.
Given all that has happened, I am sure your recommendation will carry a great deal of weight, Commander. Do you support any particular candidate?
Yes, the evil sovereign music playing in the background as we meet in a shady corridor. This is what happens if you're a renegade Shepard but save the Council at the end. Whereas if you don't save the Council but you're Paragon Shepard, there's all happy music and stuff. Even though the Council aren't alive. Because you're a Paragon. Anyway, you know, it really isn't up to us, but, you know, we're not the type of person to say that. Ambassador Udina is more qualified. You know, short-sighted, perhaps, and prone to betrayal, perhaps, but he's a politician. He'd be able to fight for humanity's interests. On the other hand, of course, we're going to pick Captain Anderson, because, come on. You know how personally we take betrayals and things like that. We understand how much Captain has sacrificed for us, and what he's done for us in making sure we succeeded in our mission, indeed saving the galaxy. The Ambassador, meanwhile, has been, you know, a speed bump for most of it. So although he's better qualified for the position, we want someone who's friendly to us, and someone we think who deserves the post.
We need someone with the courage to stand up for what he believes in. Someone like Captain Anderson.
Him? You must be joking. Anderson prefers to let his fists do the talking.
Only with you, Ambassador. Only with you.
Are you sure about this, Commander? The captain's a soldier, not a politician.
We've already got too many politicians on the Citadel. The captain would be perfect for this job.
The shadow of war darkens our future. Selecting someone with military experience is a wise choice.
I'm honored, Counselor. As humanity's representative, I'll do everything in my power to help the Council rebuild.
The battle with Sovereign destroyed our illusions of peace and security. Now the galaxy will look to us, the Council, to defend them.
Sovereign alone nearly wiped you out. You won't stand a chance if the whole Reaper fleet shows up. Not unless I find some way to stop them.
Shepard's right. We're on the verge of a war with an enemy unlike any the galaxy has ever known. A war for the very survival of all life as we know it. Humanity is ready to do its part. We will not back down. We will not surrender. We will lead you into battle against the Reapers, and we will drive them back into dark space.
So the game, quite nicely, ends there. What I mean by that is, you know, if there wasn't a sequel, then you'd be satisfied with this ending. It ties itself together nicely. And that's why I wanted a decent assault rifle as well, because you're holding it during the Renegade ending. So, yeah, that was Mass Effect. Excuse me while I just open a bottle of Victory Ale and pour myself a pint to celebrate finishing the game and this Let's Play. It's not quite over yet though. we have 8 minutes of credits in typical BioWare fashion. So what to talk about? Maybe start with, getting into Mass Effect originally. What happened was the game came out, I didn't hear about it. But then all my friends on MSN were like, oh, Mass Effect's amazing, you've got to play it, and they all were going on and on about how great it was, and, eventually I got caught up and decided to do it. And this was on my old PC, which was never at the cutting edge of technology, and so the game played about 15 FPS. But I made it on normal difficulty. I made it through. And I think that's a testament to how great this game is, that I was willing to struggle through 15 FPS and about 5 on the hacking sequences to get to the end. And now it plays beautifully on this PC, of course, and records at the same time, which is great. I think the sad thing is, of course, that my first ever run through the game, which was basically me, picked Infiltrator. It's lost to data corruption or whatever now. Wasn't too exciting, a guy. It was a big soft Paragon, of course. But yeah, I think I mentioned how this character actually started. Is generally with games, I think many people would be the same. You do a good or an evil run through, and then you do the opposite of what you did. And since I've been so Paragon in my first time through the game, I decided to let me just take a sip of this. I planned on draining that earlier when I was thinking of opening it, but Victory Air was just too good to treat like, common booze. You have to savour it. But yeah, second time through, I decided to go, full Renegade, opposite, FemShep. And I made a face that I thought, characterised, harsh, perpetually grimacing, annoyed at everything. And I played like that for a little while, past the first couple of main missions. But I eventually grew tired of it. Because I imagine some people would do too, or get tired of playing always good. It gets a bit stale after a while, playing always evil, always good, in the same character. So I sat down and thought about it. This was back when I first played through. Not the second time, first played through this character. And thought, what exactly motivates her? Why was she like this? Colonist, ruthless. And I came up with the idea of the Batarians at first. Then I refined it, because... and here's all the credits for the... yes, Keith David, you might remember from a number of things. Lance Henriksen, definitely. Jennifer Hale is in every video game. Brandon Keener, Garrus Vakarian, also the voice of the Allied sniper in Company of Heroes, which is quite funny to hear. Raphael Savage played Kar Fanassi and KOTOR. Bitter memories for many people. They actually carried through to Mass Effect. They treated Caden like he was Kar. Anyway, yeah. So I came up with a more balanced character, because I think the does anything to get the job done type is, as much of a trope as the heroic type. Save the women and children, punch the bad guy in the face, that kind of thing, as opposed to ruthless, does whatever it takes to get the job done. Both of those are played out, and I like to add a little nuance to my Shepherds. I've got a herd of them, about 10 or so, I think, that I'm going to take through to Mass Effect 3 eventually. But on this one, I just like to add a little twist. Willing to do anything to get the job done, but the job getting done isn't the one that most people would get behind. She has quite idealistic aims, I think you agree, Justice and stuff like that. Apart from where Batarians come in, that's where things get a little ugly. But, yeah, idealistic aims, but very pragmatic means. So it'll be interesting to see where that takes her in Mass Effect 2 and 3. So the strengths of Mass Effect are definitely in, I think, boss-type battles. You know, set-piece battle. If you've got a well-designed battlefield, some interesting enemies, and some good powers on the teammates, then you get a very good combat system. And it's fairly flexible as well. So good fights, I'd say, would be something like against that Geth Armature, or Vermeer, the entirety of it. Some Ilos fights as well as crawling up the Citadel Tower. Very well done. But on the other hand, there's weaknesses. For instance, the repetitive side missions, where the fights are pretty much all the same. Notable exceptions, though, like fighting off the Rachni swarms or engaging Etienne Heliat at long range. That was good. And the Mako is definitely something that they tossed it out for Mass Effect 2, and I'd have preferred they'd changed it and made it better. You know, some RPG stuff in there. Let you upgrade it, change it around, make the vehicle more suited to the map. And they got rid of it entirely, which makes the game stronger, only because the Mako, at the moment, I think is kind of a burden. It's a lovable burden, but it's still a burden on the game. It's, you know, padding. Pure padding. But speaking the opposite of padding, memorable moments, many of them. You know, in story conversations and in side missions. Conrad Werner, for one. If you played Mass Effect 2, you'll know that he's returning. Minor spoiler there. Yeah, I can't wait to see in Mass Effect 3 what he'll be doing by that point. And, yeah, some of the characters... Not enough of the characters return in face-to-face in Mass Effect 2. It's sad to say. There's a number of minor ones, like Emily Wong, for instance, who I'd like to see more of. I'd do an exclusive interview with her, in fact, because we did promise that. It'd be interesting to flesh out Shepard a bit more. But I'll get on to the specifics of that when we actually get to Mass Effect 2, which should be shortly, because I have to get this all done before Mass Effect 3 comes out, because I want to do that blind. Shame I couldn't do 2 or 1 blind, but... Yep. So, already played it. You can't forget what you played. And, yeah, we get the startup sequence again. So, main menu. Back where we started, indeed. I think I'm going to stop recording now. And start a new career as a completely different Shepard. I want to try out the engineer class, because it's an underrated one. You can do some interesting things with it once you've got the appropriate level ups and so on. So, I'll see you all in Mass Effect 2 fairly soon. You know, in a few months. And I am very intrigued to see where exactly it will take us. And even more intrigued, of course, as where Mass Effect 3 will take us. So there we go, Mass Effect, definitely the best RPG of the last 5 years, I would say. And Mass Effect 2, probably my favourite game of last year. So, very much looking forward to that, very much enjoyed doing this. I hope you did too.